All right, let's tackle a beast. That high-pressure, hand-written international business case study exam. You know the one. No notes, a clock that's ticking way too fast, and just a mountain of complexity. But look, don't sweat it. By the time we're done here, you are going to have a complete blueprint to turn all that pressure into a top-tier performance. Let's dive in.
So first things first, let's get our heads in the right space. This exam, it isn't really a test of knowledge, it's a performance. You have to understand that what they're really rewarding is speed and structure. How fast can you take a totally messy situation and whip it into a sharp, theory-backed argument? Think like a consultant. Your job is to create clarity out of chaos and do it against the clock. So here's our battle plan for today. We're going to start with the challenge itself, then decode what the markers are actually looking for. From there, we'll build a minute-by-minute game plan, a perfect answer structure, and a mental toolkit you can take into the exam. And we'll wrap it up with a concrete prep plan. This is your roadmap from feeling anxious to feeling unstoppable.
Okay, let's just be real about what you're up against here. You've got 90 minutes, everything is handwritten, and you have 0 notes, no cheat sheet, nothing. You're basically being dropped into a situation and asked to produce a professional-level analysis from scratch. It's designed to be tough, for sure, but it's a process, and it's a process you can absolutely own.
You can't win the game if you don't know the rules, right? It's the same thing here. Before we even think about writing a single word, we need to get inside the grader's head. We need to understand exactly what they're looking for when they pick up your paper. This is where the points are won and lost. Let's break it down. When they say critical discussion, they don't mean a simple pros and cons list. They want to see you weigh the trade-offs. For case examples, they want quick, surgical strikes, little bits of data that prove your point, not a whole story. Theory isn't just something you sprinkle on top, it's the engine that has to drive your entire analysis. And finally, writing quality. Look, if they can't read your handwriting, they can't give you marks. It is that simple. Okay, we know the rules. Now let's build the machine that's going to win. Success in this environment comes down to ruthless time discipline. So we're going to take all the guesswork out of it with a rigid, non-negotiable schedule for the full 90 minutes. This is it. This is your entire exam mapped out. The first 15 minutes and only 15 minutes are for active reading, tearing the case apart. The next 15 are for strategic planning. This, my friends, is where you actually earn your marks. The final hour is pure focused execution. 30 minutes for question 1, 30 minutes for question 2. You do not steal time from question 2 to finish question 1, ever. Treat this timeline like law. So what does active reading actually look like in those first 15 minutes? Well, it's not passive, it's a treasure hunt. You circle the main problem, the trigger event. You underline every single constraint you can find, money, time, rules, risks. You jot down every stakeholder. And most importantly, you're scribbling questions in the margins. What's the real decision here? What's the big unknown? You're framing your entire answer before you've even started planning it. All right, plans in place. Now it's time to build the actual answer. You need to make it incredibly easy for a tired marker who's on their 50th paper to give you points. A clear, consistent structure does exactly that. It screams, I know what I'm doing, and it guides them right to all the brilliant points you're about to make. And here it is, the 5-part magic formula. 1. Your thesis. Tell them your conclusion right at the top. Don't make them wait. 2. The framework. Name the tools you're about to use. 3. The main analysis. This is the heart of your answer, broken into 4 to 6 solid analytical chunks. 4. The counterweight. This is where you show you're a sophisticated thinker by arguing against yourself a little, the however part. And 5. A sharp, clear recommendation that also thinks about how to handle the risks. Now let's zoom in on that main analysis part. How do you build those powerful paragraphs? Easy. You use the peel method every single time. Make your point. Back it up with evidence from the case. Explain why that evidence matters using your theory. And finally, link it all back to your main thesis. It's simple, it's repeatable, and it is incredibly effective. Okay, you can't bring notes into the exam, but you absolutely can bring in a mental toolkit. This means having a small, powerful set of frameworks memorized so well that you can apply them to almost any situation they throw at you. This is all about preparation, not improvisation on the day. And here is that toolkit. This is your arsenal. For market evaluation, you've got Pastel and Cage. To understand the local rules and culture, you've got Scott's Pillars. When it's time for the firm to make a move, you're thinking about entry modes and real options. And for that crucial sustainability angle, you've got the triple bottom line and stakeholder theory. These are your go-to weapons. You need to know them cold.
So having the tools is one thing. Knowing when to use them is the real skill. If you see a question about expansion, your brain should immediately go to risk-reward analysis, to pestle, and to entry modes. But if the question is about institutions and local rules, you pivot. You start talking about Scott's pillars and adaptive strategies. It's all about matching the right tool to the right job.
All right, you have the strategy, you have the structure, you have the tools. The final critical piece of the puzzle is turning all this theory into instinct. And that comes from just one thing: practice, drilling it until it becomes muscle memory. Here's how you do it. This is your 4-step mission for the final week. 1. Get your frameworks down onto a single page to make them easy to memorize. 2. Build a small bank of go-to real-world examples you can use. 3. And this is the big one, you must complete at least 3 full-timed, handwritten practice exams. You have to feel the pressure. And 4, be your own worst critic. Grade your own work, honestly, against that official rubric.
Let's be brutally honest here. You have to rehearse this stuff. In the real exam, there's no feedback. There are no do-overs. The performance you give on that one day is all that matters. And that performance is built entirely in the practices you do beforehand.
So there you have it, the complete playbook for taking a chaotic, stressful case study and turning it into a structured, high-scoring analysis. The strategy is clear, the tools are defined, the practice plan is all laid out. The blueprint is yours now. The only question left is, are you ready to drill?